I was amazed because when we made the film, I more or less knew the narrative, Rabbi, of the traditional Catholic Italians living in Calabria and who were kind of preserving Jewish traditions and so forth. So I saw that as, and people who were coming out of usually very Catholic normative homes. But I did not realize that there was a strong evangelical movement. And I know that the evangelical Christians are so connected to the Bible, and through the Bible to their faith, and through their faith to modern Israel. So we see in Israel all the time large groups, tourist groups of evangelicals, often from the United States, but from other countries around the world, coming to visit Israel. And I thought, okay, this is part of the story with these people who have such strong faith and are so loving of modern Israel. We have to get them to Israel. And we brought a small group of them, I think from one congregation. They were choir members. They sang beautifully, and they came and stayed. I gave them an apartment to stay in Jerusalem. And we managed to get a film crew together, and we filmed them as they were visiting Jerusalem. And I think we should take a look at a clip of them at the Western Wall, the Kotel, which apparently for them was just as meaningful as it might be for a Jewish visitor coming from New York or Los Angeles. They were really very touching. And later on we can take another clip, maybe you'll tell us more about them, Rabbi, with sharing some of their singing in Hebrew with us.
Abbiamo veramente sentito che c'era un legame profondo con questa terra.
I have had a wonderful experience over the years with this choir, and my first experience was the first Passover Seder, the first public Seder that we did in 2004 here in Serrastretta. And several members of the choir came to join us for the Passover meal, and they sang afterwards. And they sang beautifully in Hebrew, and they sang a number of songs that appealed to all of us. They sang Shalom Aleichem, they sang Lecha Dodi, and to hear these wonderful voices coming from these devout Christians. And the tie that we had between our two observances came directly from the parts of the Bible that we share. And it was lovely. And I've had an opportunity to hear them sing on other occasions. And Carl, you're absolutely right. They have an affinity for Israel that is shared by Jews as well, by dedicated Jews all over the world. And their emotional tie to our heritage is absolutely remarkable. Also, I want to mention that there is a sect here, a Christian sect in Italy called the Valdesian Baptists. It doesn't have anything to do with Baptists as we know them in the United States, but the Valdesian Baptists came from Germany, and they were persecuted and burned publicly at the time of the Inquisition, as the Jews were. And so there is a great affinity among the Jews of Italy for the Valdesian Baptists as well. And many times when I co-officiate a wedding with a Jewish and a Christian bride and groom, I often co-officiate with a Valdesian pastor, and we share many traditions, among them the tradition of the chuppah.
I'm thinking, speaking of languages that they sing in Hebrew, Rabbi, maybe they would like to sing in Ladino, in Jewish Spanish, to find one or two to add to their repertoire, or maybe they do.
Well, I have taught them bendigamos, the Ladino Hallel, and it was just sitting around a table and the Zmirot, the songs after Shabbat dinner. We had some of the choir members join us for dinner one Shabbat, but that would be a really good idea to formally teach it and add it to their repertoire. Absolutely.